Who's going to do the counting? Countdown. Go.
Well, good afternoon, our viewers. Today we are very excited to come to you live from our media studio. We are the Vijana Corps, and today we are going to talk about a lot of things, but today mainly we are going to talk about the Leader Talk show, which comes to bring in new motivating young people that are going to come and inspire you. They are going to come and talk to you. They are going to come and give you their views, their knowledge. For sure, by all means, you will be inspired by their insightful discussion. But for us today, we are here, first of all, sort of paint for you a picture who we are. Who is Vijana Corps? You have seen us in news, you have seen us on streets, you have seen us in the communities, you have interacted with one or two of our articles. You have watched us all over because we are everywhere. We are working in 3 sub-regions, that's Mbale, Pakwach, and Mukono, that is West Nile, Bugisu, and Central. But we want to first give you some of the nitty-gritties of our work. And today I'm joined with a very, very vibrant young person called Nakato Jacqueline. She has served at Vijana Corps for more than 2 years, and she has the message of head about what Vijana is using to stand out, what Vijana is relying on to remain relevant in impacting the lives of the young people. And that's why we are actually ranked as one of the best-led youth-focused organizations that is working to ensure that young people are enlightened, engaged, empowered. I can't wait to tell you more about what we are doing. Jacqueline, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Lydia. Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you for joining the show. My name is Jacqueline, like she said. I work with Vijana Corps. I've been working with Vijana since 2020. To tell you a bit about Vijana Corps, Vijana is a youth-focused, youth-serving organization, NGO, working to realize an enlightened, empowered, and engaged youth. We are looking at empowering, especially last-mile youth.
Oh, does that mean Vijana works with the last milers? How about the pre-urban, the urban? Are they excluded or something?
So now the word last mile is, it basically means those at the margins of both poverty and exclusion. Because it's not only those who are in rural areas who are last mile. For us, last mile means a person who is excluded because young people in Uganda are facing various layers of exclusion. For some of them, it can be because of poverty, as it is in the different facets that it presents itself. And then for others, it's the location because they are located at the peripheries, and so they have less access to opportunities, less access to information, less access to basic services. And so even if you're located in an urban place, it's very much possible for you to be last mile because you don't have, you may lack access to the relevant information, the timely and accurate information that you need in order for you to engage more meaningfully. Or you might be limited by poverty because even in urban areas, they are poverty-stricken. Yes, they are last mile.
Impoverished lives simply because they are in a semi-urban setting, but when they are not, okay.
Yes. Yeah. So Vijana Corps is basically looking at a youth in Uganda in that kind of situation, kind of predicament. Probably if they need, especially we look at areas of participation in development, governance, accountability, civic responsibility of young people. Are they able?
Does that mean that Vijana Corps is trying to reach out to the young people who might otherwise have been excluded socially, economically, and politically?
Exactly.
So your work is to bring them on board.
Yes, and in fact, we we categorize our work, our main problem that we are addressing, we categorize it, we put it in 3 categories. That is social exclusion, economic exclusion, and political exclusion, because those are the main categories in which young people are excluded. Socially, then that's where you start looking at gender, at social statuses, at cultural backgrounds, and at disabilities and levels of disability. Exactly. And then economically, it's the access to opportunities, economic opportunities, so that they're able to participate in economic development, get accessing jobs, accessing information about jobs, being skilled and able to compete favorably on the job market. Exactly. And then political exclusion is more about young people being lacking the opportunity or platforms or even safe spaces to meaningfully participate in the decision making from at all levels. Probably it's the local level at LC1, different levels of LC, local government, and then national level. So there are so many young people in this country who absolutely know nothing about what is going on in this country politically, or in the areas of decision making for issues that affect us as young people.
Talking about those few or major, pillars that you're going in Nakato, there are so many people who are doing the same work. What makes Vijana Core to stand out? Because so many youth organizations have been, created. They are doing the same work, engaging, empowering, enlightening, mentoring. What is the uniqueness that you come along with to do this work?
Vijana Core, it's a bit, how do I say it? Vijana is, let me say, it is using unorthodox means to get young people to engage. One of the unorthodox means is the intensive use of media and technology. Wow. Because we are looking at, if we are to look at means of engagement, we have the traditional means where maybe you write in the newspaper, or you attend the rallies, or you attend the community meetings and all. But then when you look at those traditional means, sometimes young people don't have access to them. They may not be invited to their meetings. Even when they really, really want to attend, they're not welcome. Sure. Sometimes because of their age, they're excluded socially. And so someone looks at them and, what do you have to say as a young person? Do you know anything? They already have a curtain. And then the other gender issues that I talked about, if you're a woman, can you say anything? Is there any productive contribution that you can make to this high-level discussion of grown-ups or men?
Men in ties.
Yeah. So we are looking at alternative means of youth engagement into decision-making processes. For example, right now we are looking more at exploring how much technology can help push young people to get more and more meaningful participation in decision-making processes.
Does that mean you're using technology to promote this social cohesion? How far do you stretch your work, the scalability? Is it within Uganda, or it is also across other regions and countries?
Yes, at the moment, we are exploring, not even exploring, we are starting to spread our wings. Wow. To the East African region. And right now we are looking at Kenya and Tanzania as our starting points to spread our wings. Previously we were mostly in Uganda, in which we are located. We do work mostly in central Uganda, especially in the districts of Mukono and peripheral towns, and then West Nile region, where we concentrate more on Pakwach and Nebi, Zombo, and peripheral districts. Okay. And then we have gone to eastern Uganda, and we are looking Bugishu sub-region, and our focus is currently mainly in Bale and peripheral districts. And strategically, we are also looking at spreading all the way to Karamoja sub-region, and Kisoro, or Bugisu, not Bugisu, Kigeze sub-region.
Kigeze sub-region. Okay.
And so right now we are, before we even go to Karamoja and Kigeze sub-region, we have seen a yearning for our services and for our, unique methods of, of engagement from different parts of East Africa. And different civil society organizations are reaching out to us, asking us, how do you do this? Can we collaborate? And so we are looking at collaborating with various organizations in East Africa, Kenya and Tanzania for starters. But later, that collaboration will spread to all the East African countries as they are currently.
Wow, okay. Now that you have engaged several youth, I'm sure by now you have hit a number of people that you have reached. Could you be telling us about some of the young people that have directly benefited from your interventions? Since the year of inception, I think that was 2013,
okay,
up to date.
I would say right now it's not, I wouldn't put the number because the number just keeps rising. So I don't have the updated number, but as at April 2023, we had reached 2,500 young people across East Africa. Okay. And especially in Uganda, actually, it's in Uganda. And so if I'm to give you instances, will I stop today?
Of course you can.
Because, okay, let me particularly look at the economic empowerment pillar of our programming. This is the pillar that prepares young people, especially fresh graduates, university students, high school graduates, for the world of work, corporate work out there, but also for the world of private business. Currently, we have been mostly looking at the world of corporate work, where we prepare young people to compete favorably for the competitive job markets, and all its standards. Okay. This includes us empowering them with hard and soft skills, but also different leadership skills, communication skills, critical analysis, and giving them exposure and networking with networking skills with different organizations. How can they sell themselves better so that they can get more gainful and more decent employment opportunities compared to what you get when you're fresh from the university, clueless, you don't have the connections, you don't have
they ask for working experience.
They ask for working experience of minimum 3 years usually. So you just imagine, you have come from the university, all you have is your degree and 3 months of internship.
Exactly.
And here you are
competing with someone who has been in the field for 5 years.
Who has been in the field for 5 years. And remember, there are almost countless graduations every year.
Every year.
And even the universities are becoming countless nowadays.
For sure.
I lost track. So you're competing with mammoth of young people who have graduated and you have your CV, normal CV for normal people. And you're going to compete with someone who has been on the road looking for a job for 5 years. Or someone who has been doing work, 5 years experience from this organization to the other experience. They just want to change jobs. And so they land in this, on this particular advert. You're also there. They have their 5 years of experience, you have none. So definitely the opportunity would not come to you. So we prepare young people for the world of employment so that they are able to thrive, not just to survive, but to thrive in the world of formal employment so that they are, employable young people, effective. And
just to chip in a little, how many do you usually recruit per year?
Yes, our Young Professionals program, on a yearly, our intention was to recruit 24 young people every single year, but we have never hit that target on any single year. So we started little. We started by recruiting 2 people in the first year, 2020. We walked with them the journey. We got them, mind you, we got them in a point of zero experience at all in the world of work. And some of them were even, they didn't have a university degree.
What?
So we worked with them, the journey with them. We empowered them with different skills, exposed them to different environments, challenged them in as much as we could. And by the end of the 1 year, really, the difference could be seen by, yes. To compete with a university degree holder or even a master's degree holder.
With experience, that's possible.
Yes, I have seen that because there was a recruitment one time that we were doing, and we were doing interviews, and among those applicants, there was a master's degree holder. And I listened very well to how this master's degree holder was responding to the interview questions, and I was like, even our young professional can do much better. So that's where I got all the confidence in our young professionals program and how much it can do. And then in the following year, we recruited, like we just keep on increasing. We recruited 5 people. This year we are recruiting 7. And so,
it will keep growing.
Yes, going forward, we're just looking for more and more young people. And all those testimonies are out there.
Okay.
And some of them are even absorbed within our system. They are already employed. And our hope is that what we can assure you is that they are not just going to thrive here. Even if they decide to take a different path, to go for greener pastures, they can thrive in any working environment because of the kind of training that we have given them.
I heard you talk about 3 pillars, and for now you have tried to explain the economic empowerment. Can you please talk about the remaining?
The other.
Yeah.
Yes, there is what we called the creative organizing. This one is mostly looking at how do we introduce young people and facilitate them to use alternative means to engage.
Okay.
Creative and alternative means. Meaning, and one of the alternative means we're talking about is technology. We started by demonstrating that ourselves, that we can do alternatives. That was during the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic. And a lot of we struggled to reach a lot of young people because of the lockdown and the restrictions with movement. And so we carried out surveys with young people virtually, like online calls and all that, asking them, but how else can we engage? And we collected a number of insights from them. And one of the insights just triggered us to innovate. Wow. One of the most successful innovations that we came up with is what we call the mobile hub. So you remember how I talked about all the 3 youth hubs that we have? Yeah. Those youth hubs, whereas, for example, the Mukono Youth Hub is located here in the town of Mukono. But Mukono is also big. There are locations where young people cannot come to our youth hub because of several reasons. Maybe they don't have money, transport money. Maybe they have strict partners. Maybe they are restricted by something. Maybe it is disability. So we thought, why don't we go to them, to the young people, and reach out to them from their communities? And so we crafted the mobile hub. It's a tricycle with a trailer box on it, and we have packed it with everything that you see at the physical youth hubs.
That's interesting.
That means we have a mini library, which is also at the youth hub, at the physical youth hub. We have a computer center, IT center, at the mobile hub. Okay. Usually it has about 30 computers, between 10 and 30. And there are chairs there, which we can fold and unfold. We have a sitting area, and then we have a workshop area. With all the facilities. What do you want? Is it cameras? Is it computers? Is it power, internet? What? You have it, and you can go to even the remotest of communities because we have the content access point, which acts as our Wi-Fi. So people can access information on that content access point using our computers. And then we also introduce young people. There are people out there in the field who have never even touched a computer. So they would see it and be like, eh, what is that? But when you pack your mobile hub and you open it and you invite the young person, you come, touch and feel and see.
And try out.
And try out. And we start the lessons right there. We demystify the technology.
I want to cut you short to bring you to some of the accomplishments that Vijana has had. We have seen you in the field talking about the Youth Day. Because when you talk about creative organizing, what comes in my mind is how you have used this technology to celebrate this day. So how did you go about it?
The International Youth Day.
International Youth Day this year. We were talking about green skills for youth and how they are using those green skills to conserve and preserve
the environment.
As a youth organization, how did you engage the young people?
So for International Youth Day, we've really followed the global theme of green skills, because we are also, among all the issues that we discuss with the young people, we also like to tackle the mainstream issues such as climate change, environment, what have you. And so it came very easy for us. It was among the engagements that we had. For International Youth Day, we had a discussion with the young people. We got young people who are really into the business of green skills, who had started green initiatives. And so we got them here. They interacted with fellow young people out there in the field and encouraged them that they still can do something about conserving the environment, combating climate change and all its effects, and resilience. And so the young people discussed in depth the extent of damage of climate change, but also they shared ideas on resilience, but also preventive measures, so that climate change issue does not show up again later in the future. And later, after that, we had a discussion on, not a discussion, we ran a campaign. We called it the Youth Day of Service, where we encouraged young people to do something for their community. And this time, because we were still on the theme of green skills, we decided let's do something for the environment.
As a build-on activity?
As a build-on, yes. Okay. And we collaborated with an organization in Kenya. Remember partnerships and collaborations? Yes, so we talked about, we collaborated with an organization in Kenya called, a like-minded organization called the Emerging Leaders Foundation.
Oh, I've heard about that.
Yeah, in Kenya, and we were able to pull it off. We planted 450 trees across our 3 locations in Uganda. 150 per location. We planted in Mbale. We planted in Mbale, Pakwach, and here in Mukono. And we planted in several spaces, community spaces or public spaces. One of them, we planted in schools, public schools. We planted at local government spaces. We planted at hospitals. We planted really various places. And the outcry we got from all those different places that we planted in communities were crying out, please, if you have more trees. And so we realized that it's really impactful and people appreciate it. And so people are also encouraged because they said, oh, this is really wonderful. I think it can be unique. There was a school that suggested we can do this every year, where every class can plant trees and they live to look after them until they finish. And they have a forest. That was a really brilliant idea. It was very, very successful, to say the least. Yeah, and we still had conversations going on social media, and young people shared insights. They shared experiences. And then we also launched a report, because we conducted a situation analysis in Pakwach district, West Nile, on a certain community called Wadlai, where we dived into the impact of climate change into the communities, to the lives of the communities. And we realized that they were really badly hit by climate change. Up to now, they are still suffering consequences. And there were certain beliefs and practices and attitudes that either contributed to or contributed to escalating the issue of climate change, or contributed to enforcing resilience and prevention. And so we had conversations with them through focus group discussions, and they shared with us lots of things. We took photos of the damage, and we launched that report.
Okay. Thank you so much. I think now we are going to talk about the third pillar. I shouldn't forget about that. I'm excited.
Participatory leadership.
What happens? What is it all about?
Yeah, the participatory leadership pillar, mostly it is the civic engagement.
Oh.
Engagement of young people in decision making, the real deal, like politics, in other words, to say the least.
Someone may think you're trying to teach young people to, actively participate in politics the bad way. You have seen
no way.
social movements have come up and young people are being the rude.
No. We want young people, first of all, to be holistic citizens who know what is going on in their country, how the country is run, how they contribute, how they draw out of it, and how what they can do to add on to, progress as far as technology, as far as democracy and governance is concerned. And so, because we have realized several statistics that we have, several researchers have revealed, that young people, whereas in Uganda especially, we are the biggest population.
Sure.
But when it comes to our voices being seen or heard, when it comes to decision making, policy making, formulation and all, the voices are, the decisions are made by different people. Probably they even make the decisions from their own interests.
It is interesting for someone to sit in their office and make a certain decision that is meant to impact somebody else. So young people are being...
Yes, the real people who are affected by the policies are left out of the door, and the policies are made. And so we thought, what is the problem? Can we find a way of getting young people to the decision-making tables, decision-making spaces? And one of the ways to get them is to informed, because it is when they are not participating, they don't know.
They lack information.
They don't know that we have a national policy. There are young people who don't know that we have a national youth policy. There are young people who have never, actually we carried out a research in the middle of this year. And what we found was...
hilarious.
It was not hilarious, it was just sad. Because a number of young people expressed that they had never seen read our constitution, whereas they know that it is there. They have never accessed it to read it. The national youth policy, you can ask someone about the youth policy and they're like, what are you talking about?
Even when it affects they themselves.
The national youth policy directly affects them. Then, how do you decision, how do you contribute to your community? And for them, they're like, for me, as long as I have slept well, I have eaten, it is okay. All is well for me. And they don't have any idea that they are supposed to contribute. So, social service delivery. And social service delivery, we carried out a scorecard, community scorecard in West Nile, and discovered that public service delivery was really in dire condition. But despite all that, there are so many young people who don't see that as a normal. Oh, why? That's how it is supposed to be, maybe. Munang, what can we say? And we go to ask for information. Sometimes, actually, myself, I had a comment from a young person somewhere in Kisoro who said, you know, when you go to the local government to ask for information, they can even call the police and ask you, why? What do you want? Why? Who are you to ask? You know, and so those are some of the things that we are trying to address. Yes, because the gap is with how do you get them information, the relevant information. Even information on available opportunities for young people to participate in politics or in decision making at all levels, actually. Local level, subnational level, regional level, national level, they don't know. Someone made, actually I was shocked to hear someone telling me, have never interacted with my local council leader. But remember, leadership, the decision making starts at the local council level. So that means if you have never interacted or attended any local council meeting, then there's nothing that you know. You will never know when, for example, the government is maybe giving out mosquito nets. You will never know when maybe the young, what is it, the Emioga? PDM. You will never know the procedure for accessing that PDM money. You will never know when there is a workshop for intending leaders or people who want to be leaders or want to take up the leadership positions, or if there is any kind of support from the local government, from the central government to the local government, to the young people through the local government. You will never know about it. It may come, reach the office of the LC5, and from the office of the LC5, it goes to specific directions. They direct it in specific ways. They can say, call so and so, call so and so, call so and so. And you who does not know anyone, you have to, I think by the time you benefit from such programs, you're supposed to know someone who knows someone. And if you don't, that is, you're excluded. So we want young people to first be informed. What the process? What is the government doing about this? Is there a government program like PDM, and how does it concern me as a young person in this community? How do I get to benefit from it? What do I need? And such things as local laws being passed, or ordinances. As a person who lives in this area or in this district, there are some laws that are passed locally, not international laws. And you will be shocked to know that there are so many people who don't know the local laws of their district, because districts also set ordinances and say, we don't want people stepping on the grass in Mbale city. Okay, but someone just walks aimlessly and they step, and then you find yourself in the hands of someone who is, if you don't give me 10,000 or 50,000, I will not let you go. And so...
I just want to understand, because now Vijana Core is directly working with young people, impacting their lives, changing stories and narratives, but what is the most overlaying problem that young people are facing? As a youth organization, there must be problems that you want to address, apart from the ones that you highlighted earlier, social exclusion, political and economic. What are some of the problems that you encounter while dealing with young people, and what are they telling you that is lacking? Because from there we'll be able to bridge the gap between the decision makers, the policy influencers, policy makers, so that we come at a middle ground. What are some of those challenges?
So all the challenges that we are addressing as an organization still fall in those three categories. Okay. Social exclusion, economic exclusion, political exclusion. So, for example, when we were doing the research on the enablers and constraints of youth civic awareness, the problem that resounded was across all the three regions was unemployment. And so, majority of the young people, you ask them, what is your challenge? I don't have a job. I don't have work to do. And so they were all rotating around that. So it is an economic, actually poverty is both, unemployment is both social and economic.
Exactly.
So we are addressing that unemployment. We are addressed through the Young Professionals Program, MACU. And then we are addressing the lack of access to information, the timely, relevant, and accurate information to enable young people to participate meaningfully in development.
Okay. You talked about how you engaged with young people, for instance, during the International Youth Day, and how they exhibited what they're doing about the green skills, about eco-friendly practices. What are some of the things that you featured, rather you captured, that we can maybe show people, and so that people can have a feel of exactly what happens when young people employ green skills to conserve, to preserve the environment? Did you record a video? Did you take photos? What exactly did you take from them to show the rest of the young people?
So we went around in different communities looking for young people who are doing who are contributing to green skills, who are involved in green skills or green initiatives. And we were able to capture videos. We put together a short clip of young people showing us what they do and how it contributes to environmental, conservation, but also how they are using that. First of all, they are earning money out of it, it's income, but also they are contributing to the climate justice issue.
Okay.
And so that video is very short, it's about 10 minutes. No, it's not 10 minutes, it's 2 minutes.
That's too short for everyone. Okay, Nakato, we want to thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thank you
And
too.
our viewers, some of the great work that Vijanaco is doing is really interesting to hear some of these stories. But as I said earlier, we are going to have the leadership talk. And this leadership talk today, we are going to talk about collaborative communication. What are some of the things that can build strong relationships at workplaces? And as I told you, I'm not the host of the day. The host is going to come next with a guest. And I just want to urge all of us to keep sending in those questions, those comments. We'll be reading them as time goes by. So I want to thank you for giving us this time, and we'll go for a very short break. When we return, be ready to see Esther Tino Margaret.
Do you know about eco-friendly practices?
Planting trees is something that's really vital towards combating climate change.
We are recycling most of this waste. And once we mix it, this machine is done distributor. It's the one that produces the briquettes.
Kati amanda gano gasevinga nitugakola nga tutemye emiti just tukunganya kasasiro wabali abalala gwe babeera bafisiza gwe tukunganya.
Empowering youth with green skills is the way forward to a sustainable future.
The creation of environmentally friendly green job opportunities is dependent on green skills.
Having a green skill at your fingertips is an opportunity for you to develop and prosper.
Let's equip youth with the tools they need to become eco-champions and change makers.
Inspire our youth to lead by example in adopting green practices.
We are the powerful drivers of change in promoting sustainable practices and protecting the environment. Green Skills is costing sustainable solutions for environmental challenge.
We are putting in Ekavera. This is not environmentally friendly. You can come up with other measures that are going to brand the Uganda's environmental status and also earn yourself credit for the innovation.
Protect our planet, protect our future.
Engage and empower by encouraging the young people to educate themselves about sustainability issues in their communities.
Let's emphasize the importance of collaboration and collective effort among the youth in order to achieve global sustainability goals.
Plant trees to celebrate your International Youth Day.
Tugenda okwaniza abavubuka bonna gye baali bajje tubaweeyo demonstration wano tubayigiriza engeri y'okukolamu amanda tusobole okuba nga bataasa obutonde eyo gye basinziira mu miruka gyabwe.
On the International Youth Day, as Kayinza, we plan on sensitizing the masses about clean energy solutions.
Your future, your planet, your responsibility.
Together, we can build a more greener, cleaner, and more resilient world for generations to come.
Be the change, lead the change.
Green skills for youth.
Green skills for you. Green skills for you.
Green skills for youth.
Green skills for youth.
Green skills for you.
afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back from the short break and the background of Vijana. Here in the house, I am Esther Tino, your host for the day. And I'm very excited that our guest, Miss Letitia Iguma, is in the house with me. As part of Vijana's commitment to creating 10,000 youth change agents across East Africa, with the program also of young professionals being trained and equipped with knowledge that is vital in the job market. Today we bring you a very exciting topic that is on collaborative communication, building stronger teams and relationships at workplace. Madam Iguma is one of the renowned and a practitioner of human resource management who has been in the field for more than 9 years. She's a child of God and she's also a mother. I am very excited to have you. Without taking our time, I want to welcome all our viewers who are already joining us on our YouTube channel. Please stay tuned, get your pen, get your book, and here we go. Yes, Madam Iguma, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
I am very excited to have you, and please go ahead and introduce yourself as we dig deeper to the topic.
Okay, my name is Letitia Iguma. I am a wife.
Wow.
I am a mother of a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old. They are both girls.
Proud of you.
Yes, I'm an HR practitioner. I've been practicing for the past over 9 years.
Yeah.
And currently I'm on the governing council of the Human Resource Managers Association of Uganda as a committee member.
Okay.
Yes, I am also the chairperson of Mothers Union at St. Francis Chapel, Makerere. So those are the other things that I do outside work.
Is that the Happy Wives Club?
That also.
Oh,
then I am the president of the Happy Wives Club because I'm a very happy wife.
I'll join you soon. You're welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
As we are going to be dealing with collaborative communication, is one of the topics in Uganda that we struggle with. We find that we as the youth in Uganda, we struggle with the aspect of low self-esteem. We lack the confidence, especially to engage in conversations that are maybe very vital, maybe say less in politics, or maybe even engage in conversations that develop our personal lives. And even the youth in Uganda feel shy, they are not hurt. Everywhere you see, they be at that lower level. They fear to speak up. Is why we actually bring out this kind of a leadership talk, is to try to equip them with the knowledge that is necessary for them to speak up, get that confidence, and even some of them may be wanting to become public speakers in the long run, or even some of them will want to head organizations in the long run. But now you find yourself shying down and saying, how will I start? Where will I start from? How will I face the people and talk to them? Even in this young professionals program, we find ourselves, we come when we are very raw. We don't know anything, where to start from. But we want to develop that skill. How will I speak to Madam Letitia? How will I even face her? And you find that there is actually that lack of confidence. So Madam Letitia, being part of a journey in your life that you've practiced managing human beings, because I know human resource is all about managing human beings and talking to them, and even being that chairperson of that club. I know you've done a lot of talking, you've done a lot of communication. How do you, in your own way, look at collaborative communication, like maybe in the broader perspective, or how do you view it?
Okay. For me, collaborative communication would be sharing of ideas, exchanging of information from one, let's say if it is at the workplace, from one department to another, from between different colleagues. And the aim is for a bigger picture. The aim is to achieve something that you're all interested in. So for example, if we are a group of youth, being able to get ideas and sharing information between us that will make us better, that will develop us, that will take us to another level. So if it is at the workplace, it is something that we are, let's say we are working on a project and somebody is researching on something, an aspect of the project, another person is researching on another aspect, and when we put all those ideas together, then we shall execute the project or we shall move to the next step. So yeah, for me that is collaborative communication.
All right. That is actually the aspect of working together for a genuine cause or a goal.
Yes.
And actually, looking at the communication, to me, in my layman's understanding, I would look at it maybe sharing information. But as you've gone ahead to say, it's about working together towards a certain goal, and what could be maybe benefits of working together or encouraging that kind of open communication at workplace?
One of the benefits, honestly, is that you achieve. That's the first.
Yeah.
You actually achieve, you know. I keep saying that everybody, we need each other in this journey. We need each other. So if you bring your piece of information, I bring my piece of information, then we work faster, okay? We've achieved it, but we've also achieved it in a shorter time because we've put ideas together, we've put information together. I also believe that another benefit is just being able to be open-minded. You're open to a lot of, you actually get a lot of resources from the different ideas that are shared, from the information that you've received from the different people. So you actually have wealth of knowledge. Other than you, if you were by yourself, you wouldn't have that amount of information. Yeah. I also believe that no man is an island. I can't know everything. I can't know, I can't have IT skills. I can't have HR skills. I can't have projects. Yes, exactly. Everybody has an aspect and a thing that they bring to the table. So with those, you'll be better enlightened on whatever project it is you're working on. You'll have information from these different sources, and so it will not leave you the same. Yeah. I also think that, well, there's a lot, for example, like at the workplace, there would be what I would call job satisfaction, because you're actually able to work through different things and achieve, you know. You'll be motivated to work because you know you're not stuck by yourself. You know that if I need some information, I'll be able to get it from this person. If I need guidance here, I'll be able to get it from this person. So yeah, I believe that it also boosts your motivation to work.
Oh, yes. That is great. Like there is a challenge a bit in collaborative communication, as seen in most workplaces. You might find that maybe in the long run, maybe one of the colleagues does not want to collaborate with others, or you find yourself, maybe you want to be part of a team, then they sideline you, they keep on sidelining you. How do you tackle such obstacles as a person who has been in a group, like who has collaborated a lot with others?
So one of the things that I believe is working your way to be trusted, okay? Work your way to earn your place at the table. Make your worth known, be visible, you know, so that when they are looking for this person who's going to talk about, if they are looking at something and they're looking for an aspect in social work, they will look for you, okay? They know that if we don't have this person on the team, we are doomed, you know? You know the IT people always have this advantage. They will sit back, yes, they'll sit back and wait, and then somebody's supposed to be doing a presentation and the projector screen just goes off, or something goes amiss, the laptop just decides, you know? They earn their place. They haven't, well, they shouldn't teach us their skills, but they, you know, and then they will come and they'll just do 1, 2, 3, and you're back to, you know? So earning your place on the table. showing your worth, you know. Many times you'll be ignored on the team because you're not bringing anything to the table. And it then comes back to you to work harder, to show yourself, to be visible, you know that, so that people are like, there's somebody missing. Is Annette here? There's somebody missing, you know, what's going on? Because they know that there's this person who's always adding this to the team. For the cases where, yes, you might have, it might have gone south, or you've been sidelined, yeah? I think in that case, you try as much as possible to earn the trust back. Many times for a team, working together requires a lot of trust.
True.
So for you to be, yes, something might have gone wrong somewhere, but then you need to earn your trust back, okay? And be part of the team again. Be part of this thing once again, and make them remember the trust that they had for you, or make them earn your trust once again. Yeah.
So it's all about trust. Making it back to the team, or earning that respect back.
Yes.
It's dependent on trust. But there are scenarios whereby you see maybe you try your best.
Yes.
Like you've tried your best, but maybe that best is not.
It's not good enough. Yes.
Have you been to such spaces where even if you're given to maybe say 120%, if it is there, then still you find yourself like challenged, you find yourself sidelined, and you really start feeling out of place.
Yes.
What would be your, like, that key advice to such people?
The key advice is just may your work speak for you. You've done all these things and tried to get in, but sometimes it comes down to the bottom of the bottom line is, what work are you doing?
Yeah.
Is your work worth it? Many times you're not in the room and your work is speaking for you. So imagine, yes, I've been sidelined, okay? But let me send my work there. You know? Yes, I have, this is, something has happened, but my work will be there. You can leave a place 4 years and something about your work is still being talked about. You know those places where you go to and they say, there was an accountant here who was extremely, you know?
Yeah.
By the time the auditors come, they have no problem with that a certain year.
Yes.
But if your work is speaking for you in a bad way, even when auditors come 4 years ago, they're like, that problem started in 2012. It's still there, you see? So for me, my take would be just focus on making your work speak for you. Do the best that you can, because honestly, we are human beings. There's that saying that some people just look at you and they don't like you. Some people might never connect with you.
That is true.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what are you going to do? You're not going to enter her head and tell her, like me, like me, like me. No. You know, you might not even have the chance.
That is true.
Some people have the chance to say, okay, I'm actually this kind of person. Or you might have chance to interact with some people. Some people, you might not have a chance to interact with them. If you're working on a project and there are people who are overseas, you're sending reports to Nairobi, you're sending reports to South Africa, they might never interact with you. So imagine yourself in that state. What exactly is going to speak for you? Your work, the things that you're doing, the projects that you're working on, the things that you are accomplishing, your achievements during that time. So yeah, for me, I'll just say focusing on, because there are certain things, I like to say that there are things that we can control, there are things we can't control. Yeah, I can't control how you will react to me.
That is true.
I can control what I'm going to give you. So if I decide to give you reports, I will be able to control that and say, okay, I gave this. Whether you like me or not, the report is different from me. So,
Oh, that is great. Actually, that brings me to a point where actually we struggle, like to bring out the issue. Like in workplace, in most cases, what would be the best way of trying to communicate in case such sidelining things come up, or in such scenarios where you find yourself off the group, or you find yourself not maybe able to bring anything back to the table, like like not because you're a failure in that aspect, but simply because whatever you try is turned down or is tarnished. Your name actually, if Letitia had to come in, then she would automatically get to know there is somebody who is bad in this place.
Yes, yes.
Before even such a conversation, or you having a conversation with me. Like, what would you encourage such people? Would they go ahead and table such issues to talk? Because we are looking at having like, or maybe creating a group at workplace whereby people we share information, there is that effective way of communication. And also maybe look at the aspect of today, maybe when I'm not around, because in view of communication, there should be an aspect of empathy in it.
Yes.
That whereby today, if Letitia is not around, I can step in and say, okay, this is this. So what would be the best means of maybe trying to solve such problems in such a work environment?
So the first thing that I would start with is having clear roles and responsibilities.
Yeah.
Just being clear on what are my duties, what am I supposed to do,
Yeah.
what am I not supposed to do, which box do I operate in. I'm not saying that you're going to limit yourself to that box, but you know that this is my work and this is how I'm supposed to be doing it.
Yes.
So it would also ease the communication between you and, let's say, your supervisor or the people that you're working with, because we all know that this is her, I forget the word, this is her docket of operation, okay? She works within these rules, within this set of regulations, or these are the responsibilities that she has. So for that, you kind of have a clear way of working. Yeah. You most likely not interface a lot with this wasn't clear, or this, you know. If things are clear, you know that I'm doing this, this is what is expected of me. The other person is also clear on what to expect from you. Many times if I don't tell you I need a glass and a bottle, you could bring a cup and a coffee jar, or you know. But if you know that it's a bottle and even when I come, I'll be like, yeah, it was supposed to be a glass and a bottle, you know. So having clear guidelines, clear rules, clear responsibilities helps a lot with that. For fitting in also with the team, the communication with the team, sometimes you have to speak up.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to reach a point where you actually are stating, you're not shouting, but you're stating and being clear. Shouting is, I mean by, you're not, you know, ranting or, you know, just being clear, okay? Yeah. This is what I was asked to do. Is this, what I get from this is I'm supposed to do this, this, and this, and this. Is this actually what you want me to do, you know? Speaking up in terms of being able to say, I think this wasn't done right. And can we maybe talk about this? Can we find a solution to this? Do we have to include another party to be in this conversation so that we know exactly? We might be, you know, that analogy of the 6 and the 9. You're seeing a 6, I'm seeing a 9, and we're not going to meet at any one point.
True.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we might have to bring in a third person who's at this side and saying, it's actually a 9, but on this side, it's actually a 6. So, you know, you might have to include a third party or bring in somebody else to give you another view of this situation, or this, to give you another view from another point, okay? Somebody who is seeing it probably from the outside. Also, because we are humans, there are two people, you know?
Yeah.
Many times we forget that I present myself with a lot behind me, okay? I present myself with a background.
True.
If I was battered when I was young, if I had a history of rejection at some point, if I am a very unhappy wife, if I am a failed mother, if my business is failing,
True.
if the borderman scratched my car, all that, I am presenting it, okay?
True.
You also have many women behind you. I will call them women behind you.
Yeah.
So I've come with my women, you've come with your women.
True.
Then we meet. How does that work out?
How? There's no agreement at all.
Exactly.
There will be arguments.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we also have to get to a point where we understand that even as we are relating to people, even as we are communicating, even as we are exchanging ideas and all, there are certain aspects that we might not directly face, but they are there and they affect us in one way or another. So we have to constantly have that in mind to understand that, oh, there could be aspects that I'm not actually looking at for this person.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, that one, you're well spoken, and I've enjoyed it. Now that one brings me to asking you, what could be that motivating factor? Because I believe you being in spaces where actually, especially this one, where you're a chairperson for those Happy Women's Club. I looked at it when I saw it, I was like, I think they are really happy women. What motivates you to keep it on the top of the game, like you want to keep that group together? Or even maybe say at maybe Strong Minds where you work or where you've worked before. Like, what is that aspect? I am looking at it, the aspect of you having to face the individuals, like you've gone to school and to manage. Exactly, manage individuals. Like, you know, if this person is going to do ABCD, like you have that psychology part of it that comes and says, I know what she's going to do. How have you been on top of the game, just keeping motivated? Because some of us need to be motivated sometimes. So we want to at least tap on your strategies of motivation. Yeah, that's what motivates you.
The first one is that I did psychology.
Wow.
So that was my first degree before I went and studied HR.
Oh.
So that helps me a lot, in all honesty. Yes, it helps me a lot. Dealing with people, just being able to understand. I ideally won't face you as you. I usually understand there are very many women behind you, there are very many men behind you. So for me, that is the first approach. But also, I know that we have one life to live.
Yeah.
So we best enjoy it.
Wow.
We best enjoy it. So for example, if you're going to be at work from 8 to 5, you're honestly going to spend all that time with these people, right? The time that you spend with your family or your the other life is about maybe 4 hours.
Yeah.
Between 6 and about 10, 6, 9 p.m., you know?
Even 9.
Even 9,
Roughly,
you know?
yeah.
That is it. So I believe that we need to enjoy being at work. So that's one of the things that really motivates me, even when I'm working with people. We need to enjoy being at work. We need to enjoy, you're doing it 5 times a week for all this time. So we need to enjoy the spaces that we are in. Yeah, like Mothers Union, I have probably about 240 ladies that are in the Mothers Union. Yes.
It's such a big number.
But yes, and you're looking at it and saying, people, we are married, and this is the journey that we are on right now.
Yeah.
So we better enjoy it. I mean, we're not going to sit and wallow in our sorrows and say, okay, the world has come to an end. No. Also understanding that there are seasons in life, okay? Yeah. This season I am doing this season I am doing this, and appreciating those seasons. There's a season where I would leave work at 5, go to class up to 9 p.m., go back home, next morning I am back at work. You understand?
Yeah.
That was a season. But I enjoyed it. It might not have been the best for my physical health or, you know, but I enjoyed it by making sure that I made so many friends, for example, at UMI. I made acquaintances, and I've been with those people for a very long time. It's now about 10 years. And we still, yes, we still call each other,
Wow.
hello, how have you been? Or we'll meet at a random place in the supermarket and we'll be, you know, so enjoying every moment, appreciating that, okay, this part of the life, how do I best deal with it, you know? So those are the things that motivate me to know that, you know what, let's make the best out of this now. Wow. It is what we have. We don't know when the Lord will call us home, so why not enjoy it now? Wow. We also do, my husband and I do a lot of youth talks at St. Francis Chapel. So we keep telling the youth, these are your years, you know? Enjoy them. You're not going to be, I mean, the other day they were telling, someone was making a joke at work that she was talking to somebody and said, oh yeah, I'm almost 40. And she paused and said, wait, I'm actually almost 40, you know? A few years ago, we were 23, jumping around and, you know, enjoying campus. And so you're like, wait, it's actually gone, you know? And you look back and you ask yourself, so for the youth, yeah, what have I done in this time, you know? What am I doing in this time? You do not want to look back and say, we're in September, eh? You're like, what have I done this year? How has the year been? No achievement at all. No, live every moment like it is, you know, probably, yeah, the last one that you have. Do your best, whatever it is. Work harder, you know, make yourself better, you know. Between today and tomorrow, I should be a better me by the time tomorrow comes.
That is true.
Yep.
Now, actually, in Uganda, you realize majority of youth, actually, we are tied up in, I can say, we are caged up a bit. You find yourself maybe, say, you keep on dropping friends simply because maybe the other ones now have gone far. Then that thing of inferiority complex sets in. You be like, I think I cannot be with the other ones. That alone actually takes you away from maybe collaborating with them on any business that shows up. Then maybe even fear to express yourself, even fear to communicate. Because this thing of collaborating, it doesn't happen at workplace alone. It even happens in our communities. We find maybe like there is that thing of socialism, something like there is this clique who have maybe people who have gone to campus or maybe
a certain school.
Yes. And they will be like, maybe we are like people of TGS alone, settling somewhere. Then you find ourselves maybe drawing back. There is I know the audience in YouTube right now, they are struggling with this thing. They're like, how do I start? Where do I start from? Even walking to offices, we find the youth actually, they back off, they fear because of that aspect of not maybe having that confidence a lot. What do you tell our youth outside there who are struggling with the confidence issues and maybe even low self-esteem?
Okay, my first point or my first point of advice would be, there's only one you.
True.
There's only one Letitia in this world. Letitia Iguma. Okay?
One Esther.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's only one you, and there will only be one you. Even when you have a twin sister.
Yeah.
There's always a difference, you know? So being confident in yourself and understanding that this is me, I am authentic, okay?
Yeah.
The authenticity of who you are. I keep, and when you talked about collaboration outside, not just the workplace, people who know my husband and I know that he's a very structured, calm gentleman. And then for me, I am the loud, I'm the sanguine, you know? And they keep wondering, how do you manage? You know, they ask him because they know he's very, you know, how do you manage? And he's like, she's my wife, like that we manage. And then they're like, so how do you manage that man who's very strong? I'm like, well, because of the authenticity that I keep reminding myself of. And even when we had just started dating, I'd never ever changed myself to be a different person. No. And he will always tell you, he knows that the first time that we met, I was being cheeky. I was saying, you tell us something. I was trying to bully him. I was like, and in the actual sense, he looked at me, just answered with one statement and kept quiet. But that already shows you that from the beginning, there was this person, there was this person. And you know, you get to appreciate that, you know what, this is me. And I'm not scared of being me. I'm not scared of being like you. I'm not trying to be like you because I'm already satisfied in myself. I'm already content with the person that I am. Okay. And that's what I keep telling the youth, people, the young people, like people who are trying to get into that dating space. I keep saying, if you're not satisfied or content with the person that you are, whatever they dangle in your face, you will go with, okay? Somebody will tell you, oh, you have nice dreads. You say, oh, okay. Oh, you have a nice white top. Oh, okay. You know, everything will be, you know, but yes, I have nice dreads. Yeah, it's okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Moving on to, like you get it, like, yeah, you already know who you are, okay? You are comfortable in yourself, you know? There's nothing you're struggling to add to yourself. There's nothing you're struggling to get from anywhere else. There are places where people feel that, oh, I can't get there because I'm not of that tribe. Who says, you know? What are you offering? What are you bringing to the table? Be comfortable with what, and that is why it starts with you making sure that you have what it takes to present yourself. You have what it takes to speak up, you know? You're not going to fight for a microphone, and then when they give you the microphone, you say, I forgot. No, by the time you get the microphone, speak, shoot, you know? So that they're also like, hey, okay, she actually had, there are these people who walk into workplaces, okay, and they are looking for jobs. They are trying to get, you know, a voice, or, you know, there's that story that we always hear of the guy who came, he had been coming to ask for a job, and then he went, sat at the reception, and did something to the system of the organization, and they're at a standstill. So they call IT, they are trying to find, you know, they're trying to trace where, I think it was like a sort of a virus or a bug, trying to trace it. And they trace it and they tell them the thing is like at the reception. So they go to the reception and he says, yeah, I want a job. By the time I come and sit here and disorganize all of you, you best hire me. You understand? True. Yeah, so being comfortable in yourself, and for me, I always talk about the authenticity of you, you know? Be authentic. The thing that you're giving to the world, the thing that you're presenting to the world, you know? There are no two faces to you. You know, they know you as this person. They know you as you're presenting this to them. If you're coming to a workplace, you're bringing these skills on board. You're bringing this addition to the team. If it is in a community, what exactly are you doing for the community? What are you? You can't be speaking up in a community and saying, people, let's get together and let's say put money together and do a project. And then they are saying, but you're the one who always borrows money from people. Exactly. From everywhere. Those are the simple things that make you feel, those are the simple things that make you feel bad about yourself. That's okay? True. And I'm not saying that there is no turning point. Because yes, you might be there as a youth and saying, okay, me, I've done these bad things. Okay? How do I make myself more authentic? How do I get back? Okay? There's always a turning point. And people will notice that, you know what? She acknowledged that there was something going off. And then she came back on track and moved, especially for like our community, you know. There are youth who have done, we've seen youth who are stealing things on the village, running around and chasing people's daughters, or, you know. But at a certain point, they turn back.
They turn back.
Okay? And at that point when you turn back, nobody is going to look at the old you. Yeah. They will look at this new authentic you and they'll be like, okay, the person actually made a U-turn and became better at whatever they're doing, or became a better person at, you know, the things that they're doing now. They are a better version of themselves. Yep.
Now, actually, being a person who is heading more than two, the one I'm very very conversant with is actually this one of the Happy Women's Club. What could be some of those team building activities? Because sometimes you can be at work, yes, even if there is a collaborative communication, you guys, like, we are talking well as colleagues, as what, but in most cases there should be some of those team building activities. If you don't mind, you would give us some few. We also start from
there.
To actually add what we have.
You might be having many of them that yes, but I might not have.
Yours may be a bit different, you know.
So one is just being able to understand a person's year. What is your year like? What is my year like? Okay. In this case, what am I saying? I'm saying, what are the important dates for you as a person throughout the year?
Maybe
so that
birthday.
Exactly. I like that. You see, you already have them. You know, birthday. For example, anybody who wants to get me on January 21st, I wish you luck. That is our wedding anniversary.
Wow.
So there is nowhere you're going to find me on 21st January unless otherwise. Okay? So for a team, you'll be able to understand, okay, what is your year like? What is my year like? And you put it down and say, okay, this person's birthday is this time. The important days to them are these. There are people who get down for death anniversaries for their significant others. And those people might need time off. Okay? So those are the things, that's why I'm talking about the year. Okay?
Yes.
You understand that, okay, this person, for this time, it might be a difficult time, you know? And the women that the person will be coming to work with might be women who are depressed because it is the anniversary of their father's death or their child, somebody lost a child within that time. So being able to bond, there I'm talking about the team being able to bond, okay? And getting together and knowing, okay, this is what the year is like for this person, the important dates, you know, children's birthdays, you know, those things like that. Also, sometimes it's good to step away from, let's say, the workplace, okay? It might be a team building activity, or it might be a retreat, a team retreat, where you're seeing someone beyond their desk, okay? You're seeing someone beyond their desk. I worked with an organization for about 10 years, and some of the happiest times were when we were having, we would call them beach bashes, and you're seeing the ED chasing a ball, you know, or running after, you know, and there were very silly games, but you see, you're seeing the person in another light, okay? And that brings out a certain thing for the team. Reminds the team that this person is human.
True.
Okay? Many times we look at, we also look at our president and wonder, does he, you know, sleep? Does he cough? You know?
He does.
He does. He takes his tea. Doesn't he sip his tea when we are sick?
Actually, he does.
Exactly. So that brings a certain aspect. For people who are, for example, looking at the boss as at a certain level, or, you know, you're able to put things in place and say, oh, okay, this person actually is like me. This person will kick the ball like me, or, you know. Other things would be activities that you can do as a team. For example, you can decide to have a cooking competition.
Wow.
Okay? Say everybody who wants to do, everybody can do rice and bring. Or ask everybody, what's your specialty? For me, I cook this very well, okay? So you decide that on Thursday, everybody's going to bring their best meal, and then we share as a team. Everybody, by the time you finish, you would have talked about how you cut the onions, you've talked about the recipe, you've talked about how long it takes, and, you know, you're bonding as a team. You're actually getting to know each other better, you know. There are also those family days together. Sometimes, if you're that free with your people, some people don't want to mix work
they
and
don't want even to
yeah.
People to know their homes.
Yes, some people don't want to, you know, don't mix. But yeah, for those who want to mix, you can still have that time. I also would think about maybe something like theme days. During football season, have people come in their jerseys. On a Monday, when everybody's supposed to be in suits, you tell people, no, next week Monday we are coming in our favorite jerseys, you know. By the time the day ends, everybody has, especially the men, the lunchtime will be about who scored how many goals this time, who, you know.
That is
the
true.
other thing would be traditional, theme days for, yes, where do you come from? Okay, tell us where you come from. You come in your cultural wear. Tell us about it, or decide to speak your language the whole day. Yeah, at the workplace. And, you know, it will be funny because everybody will be laughing out and wondering, what did she just say? Or, and now the task is for everybody else to find out what you just said. In case they don't know, we shall tell the Muganda not to speak because it will be easy.
That one.
So you see, just by the time the day ends, there's a little of, you know, of something that you've learned about another person. You've gained something more. You've understood a lot more about their tradition, where they're coming from, or what makes them happy. So yeah, and then also the different seasons of the year, for the calendar year. January, Easter, do something for the team, or make it, you know, exciting. Christmas, make it exciting. Put a Christmas tree at the workplace, or do Secret Santa. You know, Christmas, everybody wants to receive a gift and what.
Yeah.
You know, make it vibrant so that people are continuing with their life. They're not stuck at one point. Okay, they're not just thinking about, okay, work. No, they are working, but they also have a certain life that's moving, and, you know, in one way or another, they're connecting with their teams.
Oh, that is great.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the online team, be preparing your questions for our guest, as she's going to be here till the end of the show. So keep on rolling your questions and wait for that particular moment so that we share with our guest. Now, Letitia, there is one of the things that I always get caught up in, especially when it comes to maybe issues of, like saying, being an effective communicator, a person who is able to give people feedback, or also even embrace feedback when it is given to me. And even at workplace, we see a lot of people struggling with accepting feedback. They want to be good communicators, but at the end of it all, they just don't want to accept what?
Feedback.
What would you advise like such people? Because we want to, the aspect of becoming a great or effective communicator lies in the listening aspect, empathetic aspect, then as well as you being able to also look at your loopholes and say, hey, I think me as a manager, I have done this in a wrong way. Or maybe as maybe, let's say, finance manager, I have blundered this side. But you will find that there is only one common thing that is cuts across. We want our message to be heard. We want to be good, maybe communicators. But at the end of it all, ourselves, we fail. This one, actually, I want you to maybe like talk to the top administrators who are actually online with us. Yes, because in most cases, there is that aspect of you saying, okay, I am the top administrator, but you don't want to take in feedback. You don't want to improve on your communication skills. Because in the book of the 16 Laws of Undeniable Rules of Communication, there is that part where the leaders also have to take in their share of the cake and say, okay, if I want to be a good communicator, it doesn't start like right now, I wasn't born a person who is knowing how to communicate. It's a process, or it's a transformative process. What do you tell the leaders? Talk to, actually, this one is now
for the leaders.
You and them, yes.
No, for the leaders, one of the things that I keep talking about is, and which we all know.
From your point of examples, actually.
Yes. Communication is only complete when you have got feedback. Okay?
Yes.
So when we are sending messages out and then we get feedback, that feedback either shows we didn't communicate well or we communicated well, or if I say you've seen that game of the telephone, okay? Where I say something, you pass it on, by the time it gets the other side, that means it has been distorted somewhere, somehow.
Yes,
So,
yes.
yeah. Our communication is complete with feedback, right? And so we have to wait for that feedback, okay? One thing is that you are in that position because you deserve to be there, okay?
Yes.
And so many times people don't want the feedback because they're afraid. Many leaders are afraid of, okay, what does this feedback actually mean for my position? What
Yes.
does this feedback mean for me as a leader, right? But please understand, that is your place, okay?
Yes.
The feedback is coming from a point of being corrected, okay? Or making things better, you know? Of course, I can't rule out the fact that some people will give feedback just to malice or, you know, but for many times, let's look at it as it is for the betterment or for us to achieve better or for us to get better, yeah? And so I always say be objective. Be objective with the feedback that you're receiving.
Yes.
Whatever it is, please be objective.
Embrace it first, then
And then, you know, whatever it is, there's no smoke without fire,
Yeah.
okay? Many times, yes, it might be the bad feedback that's come back to you, but you'd probably reflect and wonder, okay, where would it have started from? It might have been on a bad day when you came and from the front desk, you were shouting at people until you reached your office, yeah?
yes.
The border man scratched your car, or you fell off a border, or whatever it is, you know? But now that the team has this thing about you, that one shouts, you know? That's where when you get that feedback, that's where you sit down and ask people, okay, what is it that got you to this conclusion? How did we get here? How did we think about, you know, this particular, how did we get to this scenario? And then they'll give you things like, that day when you came, and then you remember, the day that I was in a green coat, this is what I did, this is what I did, and then you're able to relate and know. And that is where I'm saying you have to be objective, okay? You do not start by defending yourself, okay?
Yeah.
Because defense doesn't take us anywhere, okay? Let us discover and see, okay, how far did I go? What did I do? What did I react like in this situation? How best can I manage the situation? How do I curb it? How do I arrest the situation? Yeah, so please, for me, I think it's mainly being objective and being able to, yes, sometimes the feedback is the wrong feedback, it's malicious feedback. Then you also find out, why would you be giving malicious feedback? You know, that is why I'm saying, yeah, as you're being objective, you're able to look at things and say, okay, probably this person needs help in this area. Why are they, you know, reacting like this? Why are things going this other direction? Yeah.
Because in most cases, actually, people fear to receive
Feedback.
but they are good at giving.
Yes.
And I think that is one of the things that actually, it is like a battle at workplaces. It is one of the things that is making this aspect of collaborative communication to die out, people failing to reach out.
Yes.
Because I don't connect with you, maybe we don't maybe have that personal connection, I will fear to collaborate with you. And which is actually a hindrance to development in the what? In the organization.
Yep.
And also looking at maybe your journey that you've, from maybe the time you started practicing on the side of human resource. I know you've done a lot of interaction with individuals. You know that this is how it comes or what. What are those, like, they may not be very basic, but in the understanding that communication, there is a skill that you need to develop while you communicate. If you don't mind, you can share with some of us some skills, like with the audience. Because in most cases, we end up saying, me personally, I would say
communication is sharing information. But I don't know the aspect. The skills or the strategies that come with what? Communication. Maybe even the way I would talk with you right now, maybe is not the way I would talk with the president, say. There is that the way of I'm supposed to maybe humble myself a lot, even if I have the confidence.
Yes.
But I have to act in a certain way. And is one of the things maybe that has limited the young people from actually going further in their life. Because you're coming to an office where Letitia is seated, then you're like, yo, how are you, Letitia? And like, Letitia is already will become biased. Because the language I've used or the way I've communicated, it's totally out of her. Maybe I've gone beyond boundaries and I am not able to get the attention from who? Letitia. So kindly share some skills that the young people who are intending to be public speakers and even those who are actually planning to reach out to these offices to maybe seek out help and develop their personalities. And a few skills.
First of all, I would talk about being able to understand your audience.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're going to doing research on your audience, okay.
Yeah.
Are you presenting to CEOs? Are you presenting to the community, the ladies in the community? Are you presenting to a funder? Are you presenting to CEOs? Different managers, line managers. You know, understanding your audience, okay.
Yeah.
And figuring out how do I then, what speaks to this audience, okay?
Yes.
Is it an audience that loves research, figures, you know? Is it an, we keep talking about the 1 minute elevator speech. If you met a CEO of a big company that you've been trying to get into for the past 10 years, you meet him in a lift and you have 1 minute only to talk about you, how many years of experience. What would you say, you know? So, who is your audience, okay? Is it a person who loves figures? Is it a person who loves stories? Is it a person who loves jokes? Is it a person, you know, being able to know your audience and preparing for the audience, okay? When you know your audience, when you prepare for your audience, you know, what are my talking points, okay?
True.
What am I going to speak about? Where do I start from? Where do I end? Okay? Where do I take a break? Okay? So that is, that in terms of, that means you have to do some preparation, okay? Prepare your talking points, okay?
Yes.
Let them be clear. I start here, I go here. Many times we start and then we go like this. Then somewhere along the way we come back, okay? But remember, we have 1 minute with this CEO.
Yes.
Imagine, I always tell people, always imagine you have that 1 minute. Are you going to first go this side? My friend, by the time you finish, the guy will have left the lift, okay? So, know your audience, prepare, okay?
Yes.
State your talking points. Where am I starting? Where am I going, okay?
Yes.
And then listening.
True.
And not just with your ears, even with your eyes.
Yeah.
You'll be talking to an audience or you'll be presenting somewhere and people are dozing. That already tells you change strategy.
Yes.
Okay? You'll be talking and people are rolling their eyes. If you're a young man and you're vibing a girl and she's rolling her eyes, change strategy.
True.
You're probably talking about Android, for her she wants iOS. So change strategy, you know, read the other person. And that's why, that's what I would package in the listening carefully, okay? Listen with your ears, but also with your eyes. See what's happening, okay? And then pause to receive clarity on certain things. Sometimes people are listening, nodding and moving, you know, with you, but they are not actually listening.
True.
So ask a few questions. Make sure that the people that you're talking to are actually following through.
Yes.
How do you do that? pause, ask for a few questions, or ask them for their feedback. What do you take out of this? How do you think this is going to impact the organization? How do you think this is going to impact the community? You know, have an interaction. Don't just feed, because then the information has just gone and you're not receiving anything back.
True.
Yeah.
We are really very privileged to have you in the house, and I hope all the young professionals in the house are listening, and we are very delighted to have an expert in human resource management. You know, this is all about a body that does the recruitment. So when we are looking at these points, take them as a way, because here, as the Young Professionals Program, what Vijanaco does is to train, equip the young people, fresh graduates, or even those who are still at campus, with the necessary skills, so that when we come to meet a human resource, we are able to actually talk. So this is very insightful, and I'm really glad that you've actually touched that topic. In most cases, you find maybe when we walk into such places, that's why I was emphasizing on the aspect, which are the necessary skills actually. Because this talk show is more of helping the young professionals and even the youth who are online right now. In most cases, when you go, the problem that is affecting us in Uganda is unemployment. But when it comes with even lack of skills, we don't have the skills to and even the confidence to meet the what? The board, the panelists. They will ask you a question, talk about yourself, but we don't know. So that is actually why the Young Professionals Program is actually being held here. And we are very grateful for that opportunity. And even this talk show is more of to benefit the young professionals in the house. Because Vijanaco is baking, doing the baking. Now the final consumers and us to make ourselves either to be consumed or we find ourselves being consumed somewhere at least. And we are really very happy for this, and thank you for sparing your time. Our online audience, roll on your questions, and in the next few minutes we shall take a break and also be able to answer your questions that you've prepared, and also be objective. Know what you're asking. We have the human resource in the house. In line with the collaborative communication, ask any question. And even when you're stuck somewhere or you don't know any skill in communication, be free. I see Letitia is a very free person in mind, very open. So be able to ask a question and be able to develop in a long run.
Wow, good afternoon again, once again. What an incredible session that was. Thank you so much, Letitia, for giving us your time, and thank you, Esther, for moderating the show and getting us such a, an insightful session. I think my key takeout from everything that you have exhausted was the issue of the aspect of authenticity in communication. So that, you know, just like Maxwell shows us in the 16 laws, that you cannot communicate properly what you can't live. So for as long as you're as authentic and honest as honest can be, your communication will always be effective. So we've opened the floor for questions from the audience, from the online audience on YouTube, and even those who are joining us on Teams. Please share your questions. We are going to go through them very fast because we have only a few minutes left to the end of the show. I'm going to be receiving the questions and maybe comments or anything that you can add to the conversation. And then if there are questions, then I'll direct them to the expert herself. And if there are comments, we'll still listen to them. So, shoot, online audience. I'll be here checking out the questions. If I get any, I'm going to, I think my IT team is going to post them for me in my chat. So, I've already got. One of the questions that I have got is someone wants to, this is Kenan. He would like for you to share a specific example from your experience where effective collaborative communication led to a significant improvement in team performance or relationship.
Okay. So one of the ones that I would cite would be a scenario where different departments are struggling to collaborate, okay? Because
in programs and finance.
Please, you already have the examples. Programs and finance. Programs is saying the program has to go on whether you like it or you don't, okay? Finance has said we're not releasing this money, okay? And that just puts everybody, tempers are flaring, everybody's annoyed, the program is, you know? You have to get them to a room, okay? There are instances where we've got different teams into a room, different departments into a room. And this is coming from, I am an expert at what I am doing, you're an expert at what you're doing. I'm going to go with my way, you're going to go with your way. If we never meet, you know, programs will not happen. But that's also, finance will be affected because the budget will not be spent, you know. So we've had instances where we have to put them in one room to be able to understand, okay, what is it from your end? What is it from my end? From my end, I need the program to run, okay? Then you will ask questions. When does the program need to run? It runs every quarter, okay? At what point of the quarter do the requisitions come in? They come in at this point. And for me, then the finance person will say, for me, I need a lead time of 4 weeks to be able to deliver this, to be able to do this. So the person from programs will need to understand that, you know what, for me to have my thing at the end of September, by second week of August, the requisition should be in, you know? And so I've worked with cases of that where we put the people in a room and just be able to understand, okay, we are not fighting today. We are on the same team. What do you want from me? What do I want from you? For me, I want my program to run. For you, you want your money to be spent the right way. We've also had cases where programs has explained, we've gone to Pakwach, we've bought something from the roadside woman. You want us to give you a receipt? And finance is like, by the way, you're going to bring a receipt, whether you want it or you don't. And programs is like, I'm going to take you to the woman at the roadside in Pakwach, you know? So being able to understand that, yes, you are an expert, I am an expert, but at what point do we meet? Where do we meet? So that the needs from my department are clear, the needs from your department are clear, and we meet at a certain point. That is where I talked about having clear objectives, clear responsibility, clear guidelines that are set. So that if I bring in my requisition a week to the program activity, honestly, when finance says no, I'll have no excuse. I don't have to quarrel. Yep.
Thank you so much, because it brings, when you, before you even talked about the clarity of the instructions and everything, I was thinking
You
about
already had-
it, because I remembered you talking about it in your discussion. Then this one is coming in from Lydia. As technology continues to advance, what emerging tools or trends do you see having a significant impact on collaborative communication and team dynamics in the future?
In the future, so we've had a series of advancements in technology. It's been happening. I think the highest or the boost was during COVID, you know, and so we've been open to so many channels of communication, okay? And it is upon us to take up all these channels and see how to work with them, you know? We are using Teams, we are using Zoom, we are using Google Meet, we are using, you know, all kinds of things. Of course, there are emails. People now even use WhatsApp as communication.
Formal communication.
Formal communication. People are using, now there's Threads, Twitter, now X, you know, all those platforms. And for me, what I would say is these will keep emerging, these will keep advancing, okay? The emails that we had long time ago are not the emails that we have now. The modes of communication that we had then are not the ones that we have now. How are we positioning ourselves to be ready to take up these different channels of communication? How are we ready to be receptive to these different channels? How are we readying ourselves? How are you preparing yourself? You know, right now, as a person who is working in different organizations, or as a person who's aiming to be a CEO, you can't be saying, "Oh, I last saw my email 2 days ago." No, you know, you have to prepare yourself to be able to. Yes, I have 1,000 emails.
Your emails around the clock.
It's, you know, it's around the clock. Things that many times, if you're working in a multinational company, I worked in a multinational company, and my God, you know,
there's no sleeping.
Yes, there's no. You will sleep, but you know that when I wake up, so you program yourself and know that by the time I wake up, I'll have these instructions, because you're working with people in Geneva, you're working with people in South Africa, you're working with people in Kenya, you're working with people in Egypt, you're working with people in Dubai. How do I position myself to know that all these 5 people need my responses, and at what point, okay? So you have to prepare yourself and know that you can't be there saying, "Oh, it's 8 to 5.
Yeah.
And at 5, yeah, you know, life
I
has
switch
stopped.
off.
And yet the people in the US are just waking up. I talked about the time where I was going to school after work. Many times when I was at school, I was receiving emails from my bosses who are in the US. So you have to be ready to adapt to the different changes that are happening. Yeah.
Okay. This one is coming in from, and she's raised an important point of the balance. Gloria, in a team setting, how do you balance the need for open and honest communication with maintaining a positive and respectful work environment?
Open and positive communication with maintaining a positive work
environment. Open and honest.
Yes.
You know, between open and honest and positive and respectful work environment.
So the thing that I would talk about there is having the bigger picture in mind, okay? Having the bigger picture in mind and understanding that we all bring something to the table, yeah? So even when I'm giving you feedback, even when I'm communicating to you, I am coming from a point of we are on a team. We are together in this, you know. I think that the starting point is, yes, being able to understand that we are together in this. It's not that I'm fighting you or you're fighting me. No. Whatever it is that we are talking about, because that then will dictate how we are talking to each other. If we know that we are competing, I will shout at you, you will shout at me. The one who shouts loudest wins. The one who, you know, the one who bangs the table is the one who gets the way, because everybody has, you know. But as a team, if we've understood that we are all on the same team, okay, we are helping out each other. And one of the key aspects of creating a positive work environment is being able to understand that everybody brings something to the table, you know. The positive work environment starts with the cleaner. If that cleaner is absent, you will understand. You will understand, you know. But you will think about it and you're like, for us, we sit in the boardroom, we make presentations. What does the cleaner do? No. Even the cleaner, being able to know that you appreciate him, you appreciate her, she will do her work with an extra effort, knowing that they know that I am here. They see me, you know. And in that way, your office will be better, will be looking better, you know. They'll arrange it better, they will, you know, clean it better. But sometimes
take care of your plant.
They will take care of, you know, it will actually create that nice, you know, serene environment. Other than if you make it seem like the person is useless, they'll also do their work, and that will create probably a low self-esteem for them. I'm just here to do this, you know. They'll do their work haphazardly.
I think I'll read one last question and then we wrap it up. In a remote or virtual work environment, what challenges do you face regarding collaborative communication, and how do you manage them?
Remote working environment. Well, I think one of the barriers would be network failure, I guess. Because if I'm trying to call you and you're off, and you know,
that's definitely a breakdown.
Yes. How do we, you know, how do we reconcile? Or yes, there are power blackouts and your laptop has gone off and what? Yeah. So I think the way to kind of manage and keep it going is, first of all, being able to realize what are the barriers that we are facing. Okay, what are the things that can happen? You know, I'm leading a certain group, and last Saturday we sat down and said, okay, what is the worst that can happen when you're leading the group? It's a Zoom meeting, okay? One, the child can walk in and come screaming, you know. Two, power can go off, and so you can't, you know. Three, if you're using your phone as a tethering spot, somebody can call you, or, you know. So all those scenarios, being able to understand what are our barriers, okay? And how do we then mitigate? How do we overcome? How do we prepare for them? Because it's not a matter of saying, oh, we are in a remote place now, we have barriers of communication, now we can't be able to communicate with a team. No, you know that there's a problem, okay?
And there's always a way around it.
There's always a way around it. Understand what the problem is and prepare to mitigate, prepare to eliminate that problem. I can't really specifically give solutions because I might not be in that scenario. But for me, my call is understand what the problem is and see how do I mitigate it. If it means me going to charge my laptop in the training center and knowing that my battery will take me for 5 hours of the Zoom call of all my important meetings for the day, let me go do that. And also I communicate to the team and say, people, between 4 and 8 p.m. is when I'm going to be doing this because of
the power issues.
Yes.
Oh, thank you very much, Letitia. I think the conversation was still very beautiful, very many insights. I'm seeing questions, but I will not go into them. Some of them you can keep the conversation going on our social media handles, on YouTube, Facebook, X, and on our WhatsApp number that you have opened up. So thank you so much, Letitia, for the wonderful time that you have given us, for the brilliant and incredible insights that you have shared with us. I'm sure our young professionals in the room had their ears wide open for their, to add to their learnings, because Maybe let me do some Lugambo. That is one of the modules that we are handling in our young professionals curriculum. And so this is class for them.
This is class.
Yes. So thank you so much, Letitia, for sharing that wisdom with us. Thank you, our online audience that have joined via YouTube. The video will definitely still be there on YouTube. The conversation is ongoing on Twitter. Please go and keep your comments coming in. There will always be someone responding to them or acknowledging them. Thank you so much for joining the show. Until next time.